Hey there, Peter here from company web Aika. We are a US-based web development company. I'm the owner of the organization and I'm also a web developer. So in this quick tutorial, I'm going to give you a quick overview of the development process and how we go from a concept of a website to the actual website and what makes us different. What makes us different? We are building websites from scratch. So we don't actually use free templates, we don't use premium templates, we don't use builders. We are coders. We actually code elements, and that's how we assemble beautiful websites that you see. One of the biggest concerns that I hear from the clients is the fact that if you build my website from scratch, how am I going to modify things if I want to modify something on my website myself? The fear of losing control over the website is fairly big. And the truth is that our websites are a lot more customizable by a non-coder than the websites that people build using builders. And in this specific video, I'm going to show you how that is the case. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Let's go back and talk about the development process. Every development process starts with an idea. A client wants to have a website. During this time, when a client wants to have a website, they usually call us and ask us for a meeting. We do a conference call, or we do in-person meetings, or we do a video call. There's many ways to get in contact with each other. Now that we have a client on the phone, we usually do a discovery session. During the discovery session, we look at what that specific business does. How is that business different from other businesses in the same niche? And what makes them unique? These questions are really important because we want to make sure that we highlight those specific elements, and we want to bring them out during the development stage on the website. Now that we have had a discovery session and we have learned about the company anything and everything that we can, we also ask questions about functionality. What specific functionality does a client want to see on their website? What is functionality? This is probably the most frequently asked question. Functionality are things like blogs, contacts, different wholesale order forms, maybe an internal page that the company has for their employees. Those are the functionalities, and we need to make sure that we address those before the start of the development process. Now that we have everything, I usually ask a company to provide me anything and everything that they can about their business in writing, about us section, top services that they offer, different elements that make them stand out. I ask them to provide that in form of a writing. If they cannot provide, or if the business just simply doesn't have time, we have people on staff that will be able to generate copy for a website. Moreover, we take information that client provides us and we modify it to make sure that it does attract business and that the key points are highlighted and they follow certain logical order. Now let's have a look at one of the wireframes. Wireframes are really powerful tools that enable us to quickly put a website together in form of a visual picture. It allows us to lay out different elements and have specific flow to them. So really the first step is the actual wireframe. Wireframe goes back and forth between our wireframing person and the client, and we make sure that everything is aligned properly and that the client is happy with general structure. After the wireframe is approved, we do a bit of magic on it. It goes to a graphic designer. And graphic designer really changes things up. Into the wireframe, she adds images, beautiful fonts, different backgrounds, very nice circular elements around our straight and square boxes that we have seen inside our wireframe. The website, after it goes through the graphic designer, goes back to client, so the client can look at the graphic design and approve or ask to modify something. In this specific case, our client asked us to change the picture. She wanted a different picture. And we have done that. Website went live. You can see that the image was changed. Unfortunately, this image has bad resolution, but that was the only image that she was able to obtain from the Kia. Everything else looks really sharp. Here's another wireframe. This was for a book. This is the actual website. You might have noticed that we have skipped the graphic design stage. In this case, the client asked us to create an extremely functional website, but he asked us not to focus on graphic design, so graphic design part was skipped. But we still used different elements from our collection, and we were able to create a very nice website for him. It is extremely functional website, as I mentioned before. Client is able to add their own images, their own blog posts. They have a newsletter sign up page. They have a contact us page. Although this website doesn't have extremely great graphic design, it is extremely functional. Here's another website that we have done for another client. Wireframing, graphic design. This website had complex services page, so we created another wireframe and another page for services. When the website was completed, this is the final look. And certainly the services section is also here. I really like how the Contact Us page looks here. Last but not least is our recent work for the self-storage business. Client asked us to integrate some of the guidance so people would be able to see which specific unit size would work best for them. So we have integrated that, and we have built a website for them. This is graphic design. This is what my graphic designer envisioned as the guide for people to use. And this is the final website. The buttons are clickable, and they changed the information that's here. I think it turned out really nice. Individual locations have separate pages which have images of the actual units, lease application, unit track integration to show real-time available units. This was a very complex piece of programming. Google Maps, so people can actually see where it is. Now, as I mentioned before, there is a very simple way how to manage such complex websites. We're actually building a very complicated website right now for eco oils. I'm not going to bore you this time with another wireframe, but I want to show you that these elements over here, they're fairly complicated. I mean, we have dynamic elements, they're mobile friendly, and we have complex header over here. If we shrink the screen, you can see that this image changes completely. There's basically two images. One image is for mobile device and another image is for the laptop. And the buttons here, of course, that change color. So how can we take such a complex structure and how can we simplify it enough so the person that doesn't know programming at all is able to modify it himself? Let's go to the dashboard of this specific website, allessential.ca. Let's go to Pages, and we're going to navigate to Homepage. As I mentioned before, this website is being worked on right now, so you can see that there is no footer at this time. Again, we're still working on it. Over here on the home page, you can see that we have two images. Remember when I told you that this image changes when we reduce the screen size? This is one image, and this is the second image. there we have two images over here. Let's say if a user wanted to have a forest, for example, instead of the bottles, they can simply delete this one, add a new image, select it, click Update, and magically there's a new image over here, image of a forest. And it still opens up the old large image because we haven't changed it. Now let's put things back together the way they were. You can see the header over here, and there's a paragraph over here. This is the same header over here, and this is the same paragraph. We can add things to it, click Update, and you'll see the changes will appear on the website over here, and we can delete it. You might wonder, how did we address the buttons over here? The buttons have also been programmed and brought to the backend administration. A user is able to select a link to a specific page that it's going to link to. Skincare deodorants is to link to skincare deodorants. Add a link, and we have a link. User is also able to change pictures if they want to. If they have graphic design department, they will be able to generate new pictures if they need to. Or they can just call us and we have a graphic designer that will gladly create new pictures for them. Same thing with this section over here, essential oils in everyday life. You can see that this header is right here, essential oils in everyday life. These are the background images for this section over here. What if you wanted to change the order of elements? Let's say you want to see sauna first. It's fairly easy. You can just click, drag, and drop. You go back, you click Update, and you can see the changes reflected on the front end of the website. So everything is extremely flexible. Now this flexibility actually goes way beyond the blocks that you see here. This flexibility is within the code. If a client wants to add a different section over here, all that they need to do is to ask developer, and the developer will code a different block for them. This is a lot more flexible than if you are going to be using do-it-yourself builders. Because do-it-yourself builders, you're limited to specific blocks that builders provide to you. And usually those blocks, they have only 3 breakpoints. That means that they're adaptable to only 3 mobile devices. In our specific case, we use 6 breakpoints, and we make sure that every single step of the way, as you slowly reduce the screen size, we make sure that everything looks crisp and beautiful. And that's what really sets our company apart from any other organization, is the fact that we take time to code things. We are developers. We're not just website designers. We know how to code, we know how to build beautiful website. If you look at our backend code structure, you will see that the way that we code things, it's very neat and it's very clean. Let's have a look at the Oil Essential website. Homepage. Everything is labeled. Everything has specific sections, the start section and the end section, and it's all wrapped in specific PHP codes that query if specific element does exist or if it doesn't exist. You will not be able to find a better web development company with better quality standards than what we provide. One last bit that I want to address is the fact that many people say, well, your websites, they look simplistic. They don't look fancy. I think they look really fancy. I don't think they look simplistic. I think they're simplistic enough for people to be able to understand and to make the purchase. And that is the end goal, to make sure that your client doesn't get lost. However, sometimes we do get clients that want complex, beautiful websites, and they don't care if the client gets lost within the different effects and different elements. And we do build those websites as well. To demonstrate that to you, I'm going to show you a website that we have built for this specific client. Now, we did do our best to preserve the cleanliness of the website as well. You can see that there is effect or parallax effect where you can see that the background slowly shifts up. You can see that there is different prices over here, different sections over here. There's this table over here, another parallax effect, and we have the frequently asked question and the contact section. Now, this might look really cool on the desktop, but you might wonder, how does it work on mobile device? Look at this. How does this get restructured on a mobile device? How does this get restructured on a mobile device? This looks almost like it's non-mobile friendly, but it is. Look at this. This is one breakpoint. There's another one over here. And we reduce the screen size all the way down to the smallest screen size that's possible. You can see that we still have the image there, and all of the tables have restructured, and the header has restructured, and we have mobile menu over here. Everything is mobile friendly. And that's where the complexity lies. To be able to take complex structure, make it simple, and bring it back to the owner of the website, to the actual client, so they would be able to go back and modify things themselves. Last but not least, I want to show you one more website that we have built. Now, this website is very different from any other websites that we have built. This is built on a template. Now, I did mention to you that websites on a template we don't build, but sometimes we do. When a client really wants a website on a template, we build a template-based website. Template-based websites, they have a lot of different animation effects. You can see that it scrolled all the way down for me. It has a lot of animation effects. It has cool buttons. I mean, we're talking about large organizations with multiple developers creating these elements that we can reuse and repurpose for the new website. They're cool, they're flashy, they can have crazy functionalities. However, everything comes at a price. A template website, because it has to have so many functionalities and so many variations, it is extremely bulky. An installation of a template-based website can easily be over 500 megabytes in size, and I'm talking about millions and millions lines of code that has to work in order to give you a page that you can see here. So my recommendation is to avoid it. Usually template-based websites, they need something called an accelerator plugins. Basically, it's a band-aid, something that takes a snapshot of a picture of a website, and the next time that somebody looks at the website, they're actually looking at a specific snapshot of precompiled HTML, CSS files. It's not the best way to go around website building, especially when things come to the updates and upgrades time. Okay, one last thing before we go, that would be Seiden. Seiden is a really cool website. It has been custom built by us. The load time is fairly slow, but the load time is not because the website loads slowly. It's because they have it on their server and the server response time is extremely bad. They decided to host their website in-house. It's a fairly big organization, multiple people there. They have their own graphics design department, and they have a lot of people that manage their website. This website is very complicated. It doesn't look that complex, but there's 6 different blocks in here. News is one of the blocks that have been created. They can manage and administer their blog. Events is actually a different blog that was created. So there's 6 different blogs sitting within this specific website. It gets updated daily. And I haven't heard from these clients for about a year. And they do call me when something goes wrong, but it doesn't. It doesn't because this website has been built in such a way that it is extremely robust. There's nothing to break because everything is custom coded. So if you're looking to have extremely robust, very clean, very easy to maintain, very easy to upgrade website, definitely give us a call. We're located in Central Pennsylvania. This is my personal phone number. You can call me at any time you want. I'll be happy to speak to you, and we'll be happy to build you a beautiful website. We'll go through wireframing, we'll go through graphic design, we'll build it out, and you will have a website that will be proudly displayed within our portfolio. Well, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully this was insightful and informative.